Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel here. So in this quick video, I kind of want us to talk a little bit about how the code kind of lays out wiring in an installation. This is going to be your NFPA 70 or the National Electrical Code. And it really isn't going to matter what edition you're using based on whatever state it is. This has been a code for quite some time now, so we're going to kind of go over that. And what we have here, and I'll go around on the other side of the camera here in a minute and kind of give you more of an understanding of what all we're looking at here. But what we have here is a switch that's been, I wouldn't say it's been roughed in, but it's kind of like it's temporary until the owner of the establishment decides that they're going to refinish their entire basement. So this is actually going to be here quite some time as an established outlet, or rather as an established switch. And what we're seeing here is definitely not compliant with the code. And what we're going to do is we're going to take and we're going to kind of show you what is compliant with the code in this design here and what is not compliant with the code. And then we're going to come in here and we're going to kind of walk through like what the proper way is to fix this, how we could quickly get around it if we're, kind of in a hurry. But we also need to kind of take into consideration something that we're not going to talk about in this video a whole lot is we do have the consideration of when we're grouping multiple wires together, we might have to derate that. Now, I can tell you based off of what the client is doing here with our lighting load, we don't really need to worry about that too much. Our amp draw is going to be maybe a couple amps total maximum off of this particular circuit. So derating this at a 14 gauge wire carrying 15 amps is not really going to be a concern to us at this point. So here I'm going to kind of zoom in a little bit more and kind of give you an overall understanding of what we're looking at here. So what we're looking at is this switch mounted here that our wires are coming into the back of the box and then coming out of the box. Now, realistically, the electrician probably should have labeled which wire is the current carrying conductor into the switch and then what wires are going out with power to the lights. So what's the switch leg itself? Now, I can tell you also that whomever wired this, what's going on is that one of these is also just kind of a joint power based off of taking apart the box. One of these is sending power to another circuit somewhere else, again drawing maybe that additional amp. So altogether, roughly anywhere between 2.5 to probably 3 amps worth of power, with the power coming in and the power going out. But what they failed to do is that it looks like they have like this other circuit, whether this is the switch leg going to the lighting load or whether these are that system, and then this is just an additional power line. We're not really sure. We could take the box apart and figure that out. In reality, I don't really care, and the client that we're working with isn't going to matter either. But what we need to do is we need to follow the code, and I'm going to tell you right off the top of my head, I don't remember whether it has to be within 12 inches, but I believe 12 inches is with conduit, and I want to say it's 8 inches. Now, for me personally, I try to do it within about as close as I can to the box. This happens to be because I like to support the wires as much as possible. Now, when I'm going the distance run, I might be a little bit farther out, but for me personally, that's the way I like it. It makes a cleaner installation and it makes it look nicer. And I will tell you, when you work with a lot of small wires like we do in manufacturing settings, the more straps you have and the tighter you control it, the better off it's going to be in the long run. And in this particular application, we don't have that. So, what we're going to end up doing is we're going to end up having some of these zip ties that you can see that the original installer did. And I'll kind of give you that kind of a glimpse there here a little more on this particular application. And I just want to understand is that this is not necessarily like whether this is right or wrong entirely within regards to the fact that this wire is for sure wrong. The other part of the application looks correct. Again, that part there being the odd man out. So you can see where he's got the wire staple into the lumber here, and then you can see where he's got the zip tie pulling the other thing into that. And then if you pan up a little bit more, you'll see there's another cable tie here where he's keeping the wires together. And then as we continue to pan up, we can kind of see where it's all continued to be secured. Now there is also another securing wire where he tries to group all three of them together. My guess is probably just a temporary installation, something that could be an issue. Now, we do need to kind of take into consideration there is this kind of huge rat's nest up here of cables. I'll be honest with you, that's something that's got to be tackled an entirely different day based off of the applications that are going on within the entire home that the homeowner has here. But for right now, we're kind of talking about this particular circuit going up this board here. So in most applications, what we could say is that if we're on kind of a hurry, what we would do is we just go ahead and grab this wire, put it in here, and then go ahead and add just another cable tie. Maybe we'd worry about that, maybe we wouldn't. We'd probably come up here and then add a cable tie close to the other mounting piece that's right here on this application. Now, the proper way to do it, and I'll be up front with you, that's the way we're going to do it, is we're going to go back down here to where we were, and we're going to cut all of these cable ties off of here, and we're going to nicely mount all of this back in together so that they all three kind of mate together smoothly. And so that's going to be the application that we're going to have, and when we're all said and done, we'll have 3 wires that come out nice and smooth, mounted in here nice and smooth and straight. And that just gives us a nice clean application. Remember, the code demands that we have a nice layout that is A, secured, mounted and wired correctly, derated as necessary in the application that we're working with. Again, that's not a concern to us here. But all of our workmanship has to be neat, orderly, and correct, as well as functionable. So those are the things that we have to take into consideration. That is a code. It has to be neat and organized. And so this certainly is not neat and organized. And so that's something we definitely want to take into consideration there. Anyway, I think you can kind of see it plain and simple. We're just going to cut these zip ties and go ahead and mount that in there. So we'll leave it at that and get to it and finish the product. Thank you all for watching.